Hi, folks. So I'm going to do a review, first impression, or actually, I've gone on the first run, so it's not quite a first impression, but it is kind of a first impression because I got out of the box, put it on my feet, went for my run in the middle of the morning or in the middle of the night, whichever one it is. It was about 3 a.m. And so now I'm making my first impressions video. Now, very important. This is the Reebok Floatzig one. I used to own the Reebok Kinetica Concept One. That's a I would say about a 4 or 5 year old shoe. It's no longer they're no longer making it to the best of my knowledge. That was when Adidas owned Reebok, and so to me it felt like it had great it was very quality shoe. Adidas usually makes great excellent shoes. I've always been a Reebok guy. If you took me to a store and just told me to pick out a pair of running shoes, just put me in the Reebok department, show me my right size. Didn't matter the color, didn't matter. It generally met 80 to 85% of my criteria. Unlike a lot of other shoes that would meet one thing and then not the other, but the Reebok, especially the Energy, always just met my basic criteria up to 80 to 85%. Most other shoes, it's like too soft, too this, too that. But the Reebok always met the criteria. I could just run in those shoes with no problem. Um, Back to the Floatzig one. Um, it weighs about a hair under 12 ounces in my size, and this is on par with like the Pegasus. Well, it's a little lighter than the Pegasus. The Pegasus, I think, in my size was about 13 ounces, and you can feel it. It's very lightweight. They hollowed out the midsole foam right here, especially in the heel area. And funny enough, that's where I kind of have my biggest complaint. The midsole foam is the Reebok Float Ride Energy, I think it's called, something like that. And it has a 6 millimeter drop. The stack height, I would say, is about 34 to, well, it's a little, I would say it's about between 34 and 38 millimeters in the heel. And then it has a 6 millimeter drop. The lockdown is pretty good. There's not much. There's moderate amount of fabric. It's a moderate amount of fabric. It has a plastic heel counter, or well, it feels like plastic. It has that extra loop so that you can make the runner's knot, and it has a very good lockdown. Very important for people who are not stability runners. You probably don't notice this, but you see how the fabric just kind of folds here like that. That means there's no arch support. Generally, as an arch support, the fabric would be a little tighter here, but there's no arch support. So if you're a neutral runner, this shoe would work perfectly for you. But as you can see, the fabric here kind of tells you that there's no arch support. The width, it's a little wider than usual Reebok shoes. I'm getting some of my old school ones. This is a Reebok trainer. I've had it forever. I mean, you guys can see how worn out this sucker is. Where am I going? All right, cool. And you can see a lot. And on this side, they're matching. But on this side, you can see how much more space you have, how much more shoe there is. So it's a wider shoe than the typical Reebok. And another pair of shoes, another pair of Reebok. I've been a Reebok day one or so. And as you can see, another worn out pair of Reebok sneakers. It's slightly wider, just slightly, and that's one of the things that I like about it. So it covers the basis of a heel striker who lands and may lose us. You know what I'm saying? Who may need that extra amount of foam in the heel. Uh, and then it's also a little wider in the forefoot. I don't know if well you can see it has a little spill on this side and a little spill on this side, so it gives you a more stable ride. A lot of people are concerned about the holes and all the other stuff. Like I said, with the Connecticut concept that I owned a couple of years ago, it also had that, but it had a plastic encasing on it. It covered it pretty much kept it everything inside, and it helped it with the rebound too, where so that whenever it expanded, it just the plastic would help you rebound. Now let me just show you how soft this is. It's really good foam. It's pretty soft, and so like I said, if you're a heel striker, this this may not work so well for you because what happens is you may feel like you're sinking into the heel. So if you're a 4 foot striker, you probably would never notice. You probably wouldn't notice that. Um, I usually show the heels of the shoes, and I always talk about the heels of a shoe because even though I'm a heel striker naturally, but I've been moving to midfoot striking. But sometimes you go backward on your training and you start heel striking again. And so uh, that's something that I would say be aware of. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying be aware of it. There's plenty of foam in the heel, but all the spacing may actually make you feel like you're actually going into the spacing, and that made me aware of it. And of course, like I said, I've been working on trying to move to my 4 foot, so I started moving forward. I started moving. I pretty much stopped landing on my heel. Um, as I ran. So that's my first impression on this shoe. I think it's a great shoe. I think it's a wonderful shoe, a great addition to the Reebok line. Uh, would I wear this over the Energy 5? As you can see, I made a video about the Energy 5. Would I wear this about over the Energy 5? I definitely would. I would wear this over the Energy 5. Like I said, because this feels like a little softer foam. I might do a comparison between this and the Energy 5. But first impressions, I definitely would wear this over the Energy 5. Maybe it's because it's new and, everybody has a bias toward new things. I do at least. Um, and so would I wear this over the. I definitely would. Yeah, it's time to bring that one back out of. Well, I've run in it quite a few times. Anyway, and would I wear this over the Pegasus? Like I said, it does feel similar to the Pegasus. It does feel about the same weight as the Pegasus. The Pegasus made a lot of improvements. I would wear this over the Pegasus. Just now talking, just sitting here and talking, I would wear this over the Pegasus. I might try the Pegasus again, maybe do a comparison at some point. But would I wear this over the Pegasus? I would. I would. Um, the Vomero 16, I would say, ugh, man, this maybe it's because it's brand new, but it feels softer than Vomero 16. I might be wrong. Lee, I don't want to say that because I do like the Vomero 16 a lot. Um, the Saucony Kinvara, the last Kinvara I ran in was the Kinvara 12. I still own it. It's one of my favorite shoes. I definitely will wear this over that because this does not give me this gives me a lot of traction without a lot of ground contact. The Kinvara gives me a lot of ground contact, but so that means I feel like I can run farther in this than I would in the Kinvara. If you just gave me a choice of the two, I would definitely pick this over the Kinvara. If I well, not depending on the distance. If it's a longer distance run, I definitely would take this over the Kinvara 12. Is the 12? I don't know. They've made a lot of improvements since the Kinvara 12. Just FYI, so it may be a better shoe than this. Um, the updates may be better. I don't know. Based on the 12, what I know is I'll run in this if it's a farther distance. The Motiva is my favorite Nike shoe right now. I definitely would take the Motiva over this for sure. It's just my favorite Nike shoe right now. It's a firm shoe, excellent rebound. It's not firm like solid like a wedge. It's not even as firm as the Fly. But I would definitely take that over this because I love the way it rebounds in the heel. Excuse me. I love the way it rebounds. I like the rocker in that one. Uh, so I think so. This over the Pegasus. This over the Vomero. Vomero. The current Romero for sure. 16, I would say is probably a tie. I don't like the way the heel bottom. I don't like the way if you're a heel striker. If you're a heel striker, the Romero 16 is definitely a better shoe than this. If you're a heel striker, in fact, the Pegasus would be better if you're a heel striker. But if you're not a heel striker or you're somewhere in the midfoot and up, then you probably would. This would probably be a better shoe to run in than the Pegasus and the Vomero. Vomero 17 for sure. This is better than that. I don't like the Vomero 17 at all. That the Zoom X foam is just too much. So anyway, that's my first impression. I hope it was helpful to somebody. I know there's been a lot of videos on their first impressions on the shoe, but as a heavier runner, because none of them are as heavy as I am, I can tell you that much. I ain't seen their squat numbers, but I'm pretty sure I can sun all of them. So anyway, that's just my impression. Thank you for watching. Take care.